Hey, it's Vera Raposo from MySecretAwakening.com, and welcome to day one. I'm so thrilled and excited that Al is here with me. He's a very dear person in my life, and I'm just really thankful that you're here today. So thanks for being here.
Honored to be here. Thank you for having me, and I'm just looking forward to what God has in store for us and for you.
Yay! My Secret Awakening is based on Psalm 91, where we are covered by the Most High God, and we can do anything that He calls us to do, and not fear, right? And not feel stalled, not feel stuck. And there's no time for that because life is short, and it's always my goal to live the biggest life possible, and I hope that you feel inspired and motivated and encouraged to do so and to move forward into your calling and into your business, wherever you may be. So Al Lamons is a DJ here in Vancouver, BC for 20 plus years, and
dating me.
He's been a DJ here for quite some time.
Quite a while, yes. 20 plus. No, I own it.
But it's a great career, right? Yeah. It's a great career. It's a long. I was gonna say it's a long time, but we've already established that.
Long time.
I want to take you back to the day that you quit, because he had a warehouse job.
Yep.
And he had 3 children at the time.
Yes.
Yeah, 3 children and a wife, and it was a big decision to go ahead and do that.
Yeah, it was a leap of faith, you might say, for sure. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I started in Winnipeg, Manitoba. I'm originally from California. Just to give you a little bit of insight to myself, I grew up in Vallejo, California. And my father's a retired colonel in the Air Force, so you can imagine what the household was like. Yes, ma'am, no, ma'am. Mm-hmm. Yes, sir, no, sir. Pretty structured. I love my mother. She's the queen of my world. And I have a brother and a sister, Michael Dwayne Lamons and Michelle Renee Lamons. Hello.
Hey.
And so I joined the military, the Air Force, and was stationed in Grand Forks, North Dakota, and I moved up to Winnipeg. And that's where DJ Alibaba was born. Mm-hmm. Was born in Winnipeg. I started my own business. I worked at West Fair Foods first for a few years, 5 years to be exact. And no disrespect to the people at the warehouse, but they knew I just hated that job. It just wasn't for me.
Mm-hmm. We've talked about how, for us as entrepreneurs and being entrepreneurs for so many years, it almost feels like don't coop us up, don't put us in a room, don't make us stuck. Like, it's almost like it's painful, right? It's really painful. Yeah. We'll do anything to not be in that situation.
Well, I was definitely in pain every day. I'd go to work every day. I worked from 2 p.m. I wouldn't get home until 12 midnight when my kids were in bed. I never saw my kids. They were at school. And then by the time Saturday and Sunday came along, I was just so tired that all I wanted to do really was sleep. And it was funny because I would punch out on Friday, and all I could think about was coming back on Monday.
Right.
And so I really didn't get to enjoy the Saturday and Sunday to the fullest because I had these negative thoughts going, oh, I'm going to come back here on Monday.
Right.
And it was just, it just wasn't for me at that time. And so
So what made you decide? Okay, so were you thinking about it for a while, and you were doing a little bit of DJing here and there, right, over the years before you quit?
Yes, I was DJing. There was a little prep work involved. Mm-hmm. I was DJing with a friend of mine, Grandmaster Funk, who named me DJ Alibaba. Wasn't by choice. And I hated that name at the time. I was like, oh my God, don't call me DJ Alibaba, Mm-hmm. But I was working with him as a roadie, as we call it, just his assistant, and just doing socials in Winnipeg and doing, which are private parties, weddings and things like that. And I would help him, carry the wires, carry the speakers, and do all that. And he invited me over to his house to, he said, hey man, come over to the house, man. We'll bust a lime thing, I'll cook some food, man. You can spin some tracks on the turntables and thing, Mm-hmm. And I was like, okay. So I I went over there and I learned. I just started practicing with records. I just started practicing and practicing, and he would cook,
Mm-hmm.
and I would practice and eat.
Oh, nice.
So it was, match made in heaven. And so I decided one day that I said, I think I kind of like this, and it wasn't to make money.
Right.
I did not do it to make money.
The enjoyment of it.
I love music.
Mm-hmm.
And I was actually DJing before I was DJing back in California.
Right.
Because I was known to all my friends for having music and cassette tapes. For those of you who remember cassette tapes, I used to have the cassette tapes. And guys said, "Hey man, did you bring the music?" And I said, "Yeah, I got the music." So we'd hop in the ride, and everybody pitching gas money, and I had the music. Everybody had a role to play, and we'd go to San Francisco and party.
Right.
Right. So it
was more fun, right?
Yeah.
It is definitely a passion of yours, music.
Yes.
And then one day someone said something to you at work.
Yeah, I was at work, and they said to me, said, "Hey, you know what? We need a DJ for our Christmas party. Well, why don't you come and DJ?" And I said, "Sure." They said, "No, look, it's not a rap party." I was like, I got it. I can't kick it off with NWA. Okay, fine. But so yeah, I did that, and the next Monday after the party, 2 senior members of at the warehouse of the union, and they came up and they said, "Hey Al, meet us in aisle 26. Come, we want to talk to you." I said, "Okay, cool." I was like, "What do these guys want?" I'm curious. So I went over there. I started saying, "Hey, got something to tell you." He's like, "Yeah, what's up?" I said, "What are you doing here?" I'm like, "Huh? What do you mean what I'm doing? You do not belong here. You need to go and pursue your dreams.
Yeah.
You should DJ because that was the best Christmas party we ever had, and we see that you have a talent for that. And we don't know rap music. We don't know, DJ industry or anything. But we'll tell you this much. From what we experienced, that was a great experience. It was the best Christmas party we ever had. And you have a talent for what you do. You should go and pursue your dreams. Come back here when you have to."
Right.
And, they're like, "We're here because we have to be here. We're 60 plus years old. This is the rest of our life type of thing. But you have an opportunity." And coming from those 2 guys who really had no motive to say that to me or anything other than just my best interest, and they saw that, they recognized that I had a talent and a passion.
Yeah.
It was my passion. They knew by the way I DJ'd that Christmas party that I was very passionate about what I did. And people are my passion, music is my passion.
Right.
So, so the rest was history. I quit my job on the 5th year anniversary. Walked in and said, "Yeah, when's my anniversary? 5 years." He said, "Oh, it's June 13th. I was like, "Oh, great, perfect. That'll be my last day."
Yeah.
They were like, "Really?" I was like, "Yes, I'm quitting on that day." And sure enough, I quit then, and 1991. 1991, I quit then, started a business, and I knew that, I had done quite a bit in Winnipeg as far as radio and television and DJing. And there's a lot of things that I'm leaving out along the way, but I did radio and television, and I knew I had to go to a major market if I wanted to pursue my dreams.
So take me to that moment that I think a lot of us, when we're thinking of pursuing our dreams and pursuing being an entrepreneur or whatever it is that you're doing, something big, that we get all these thoughts of how hard it's going to be, and we get all these thoughts about, oh, can I really do it? And you think about it, and you think about it, and you think about it for so long, but the moment you do it, you go, wow, relief, freedom, excitement, all of that kind of rolled into one. So is that how it was for you too?
Yes, it was exactly like that. Actually, a little more fearful.
Yeah, well, you had kids in the family.
Well,
right?
I had kids in the family, and I also had a mom and dad, dad mainly, who really loved me, bless his heart, who really had no clue about DJing and what I was really trying to do. Right. Their only impression of DJ was, this party guy who sleeps out of his car and parties all, night and sleeps all day and doesn't make any money. And, so I was quite fearful because it was a large move. Yeah. It was a big move on my part. And I sometimes, people who want to, just for the people who are thinking about starting a business, sometimes it's the people that are closest to you, who have the best intentions, who will put doubt in your minds, and then that self-doubt starts to creep in, and, regardless of who they are, you have to believe in yourself.
Yeah.
You have to believe in yourself.
Yeah.
And if you
and your ability, right?
You have to believe in yourself. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And you must pursue it with vigor. You cannot be passive about it. Passion is aggressive. And so you must, if you're going to start a business, then you need to pursue it aggressively.
Yes.
And I did. And against all odds. And even today, I have friends of mine who are DJs, but they don't do it full time. So to be able to have a full time DJ business career, independent, self-sufficient, it's quite an accomplishment, and I'm happy to say that God has blessed me. It's not me, it's God. He gave me the talent. He gave me the talent, and He has blessed me with opportunity. Not to say that there hasn't been pitfalls.
Yeah, and you know what? I totally feel the same way about my online business, that it's, what a blessing to live in this day and age where you can utilize the internet and have a career out of it, right? And the freedom that brings for my life. And you know what? I want to go back to how it feels, because you had a moment where, okay, so you quit your job, you're all excited, and how did you feel? You were just like complete freedom.
I was
the day of.
I was happy.
Yeah.
I could not wait to walk out that door.
Exactly.
Never looking back.
Yeah.
And they said to me, "Okay, sign here, but you know that if you sign this, you can't come back." I was like, "Oh, really?
No.
Wow." Okay. So anyway,
no plan
signed.
B.
Yeah. There was no plan B.
This is it.
This is what I'm doing, and I'm going to make it work.
Yes.
And so I did. And I walked away from that job, and the minute I walked out of that job, I felt relief.
Yeah, totally.
I felt just freedom.
Yeah.
And also fear.
Yeah.
Also fear. I can't say that I wasn't nervous about my future, because I didn't know about my future. I didn't, I love the Dr. Martin Luther King quote, which says, "Faith is taking the first step without seeing the whole staircase."
Yeah, and that was that moment.
And that was a leap of faith for me.
Moment. Yeah.
And I just said, "God, I'm trusting in you." And even at that time, I was raised in the church, so me and God have we've had a lifelong relationship. It's not as tight as it should have been, along the way.
Oh, we all have we're children. We are children of God.
Yes, we are. And so I was just I just believed in the opportunity, and I just I took a calculated risk and pursued my business career, my DJ career.
When I had the 5 stores, before I was working for a company called PCA, and they were all in the Kmart portrait studios. And so I was district manager of 24 studios between BC and Alberta. And then we ended up closing shop because Kmart's were closing down, and we opened up in Walmart's. I loved my job. I made commission. It was exciting. I had staff. I was young. I was only 19 years old. But when I started the stores, I continued that job. And hey, Teresa, if you're watching, hey, my old boss. We're still friends today, I love her. Hi, Teresa. But she taught me a lot too, right? She gave me a lot of good grounding in business, right? But anyhow, so I worked that job all the way until I was 24 years old. And I already had about 3 stores at the time, and that's when I left. So there is foundation that we lay down. And then I think about when I transitioned from the stores to the online business, I had a good 3 solid years of building the online business in the store before our last store sold. So 2004 is when I started, but 2007 is when we sold the last store, and then I was like free, right? So it's a transition, but also it still feels like a huge jump of faith, right? Even though you've been preparing.
Well, and we don't encourage anyone to just, we say this with
just sharing our experience.
Taking this and, giving you the information that don't just quit your job and start a business.
But you can if you want. Big leaps are okay.
They are. Just make sure you're prepared.
Just don't blame us.
That's it, right? Just be prepared.
Yeah.
And you have to put in the work first,
Mm-hmm.
right? So there was a lot, like you did. You worked for a while.
Yeah.
I drove a truck for Peter Nygaard,
Mm-hmm.
Nygaard International, drove a 5-ton truck. That was actually one of my favorite jobs ever.
Yeah.
Because I could get my orders and go out on the road and I was free.
Yes,
I was making minimum wage, so I had 3 kids and a wife, and that wasn't going to cut. No, not at all. But, so I worked. But while I was, driving truck, while I worked in the warehouse, I was DJing. And I was honing my skill. I was working on my craft. And also doing my research on the business.
Mm-hmm.
I did my research on the business. How much do you make?
Yeah.
How often can you work? What other opportunities?
And you didn't make this high level. You didn't make any high level that you're making now compared to when you started.
No.
Right? You got to be willing to be in the dirt for a while.
I DJ'd for free.
Yeah.
For many years.
Yeah.
For many years. And then,
And people could have said, just give up.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And you could have just given up, right?
Well, I didn't do it for the money.
Right.
I didn't do it for
passion.
the money. I didn't care about the money. I wasn't really concerned with the money. I wasn't concerned with, the fame and
Mm-hmm.
all the hoopla that goes along with being a DJ. And people pump your ego up. Oh, you're the best. You're the...
Mm-hmm.
Trust me. Be humble.
Yeah.
Because it takes you a long time to get to the top and one day or less to crash down. So,
So let's talk about that experience that you had. He got on the radio. He came out to Vancouver, got on the radio, and what happened?
Yeah, well, I worked at Z95 for a while, Z95.3, and I did voiceovers and things like that. And then an opportunity came up, this new radio station, new urban radio station called The Beat 94.5 was coming up, and I was one of the first hires at that station. Mm-hmm. And they asked me what I wanted to do, and I said I'd love to be on air. And so I was. They gave me an afternoon show. And not only an afternoon show, I was on mornings, I was on afternoons, I was on evenings. Mm-hmm. I was all over the radio. I was kind of like the voice of the radio when it first started, when it first launched. And it was great. I love the Beat 94.5. I love the family that we had, the opportunity that we had. It was independent station, so we got away with everything you could imagine. And the people were just great. We were truly a family at that radio station. And so I remember driving into the radio station. They used to always say, it's urban music, Vancouver's first urban radio station. We're never changing the format. We're going to be urban. And we're like, okay, great. This is great. We're all pumped up. Rah, 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 go, go, go. And then one day, I was driving in to work. And I heard, no disrespect, but I heard Avril Lavigne on the radio. And I almost crashed. It was like, what the heck was that?
It's funny you bring her up because when she gets on the radio, I change the station.
Hey, Avril Lavigne, come on. She did what she did.
She's got a great career.
That's right.
She's doing it, right?
I am not mad at success, okay?
Exactly.
So, whatever, but
there's certain music types we like.
Yes, we all have our preference, And when that came on, boy, I was like, wow, one of these songs does not belong, And so, and everyone heard it. And of course, when I get to the station, they're having this meeting, this all of a sudden it's like impromptu meeting in the boardroom. And it's like, we're like, okay, well, we know what this is about, right?
Right.
So it was Avril Lavigne and All American Rejects was the other track that they played. And so we get into the studio and they're like, okay, now listen, you may have heard a couple of songs on a radio station that, aren't normally part of our musical rotation. Mm-hmm. And we're all going, yeah. And then they go, okay, no need for alarm. We're not changing the format. Mm-hmm. We're not flipping the format. We're just enhancing the playlist.
Right.
We're like, right. Okay. And then we all kind of looked at each other, Slim and just the other on-air personalities. And we look at each other and we're just like, okay, so when are we getting fired? Because we know this is the beginning of the end. And sure enough, it was.
Right.
But yeah.
So you got fired.
Got fired. And
just flat out
4 years.
Go.
Well, the first time they took me off air, and they said, hey, we're going to pull you off air. No offense to you, but we'd love for you to stay on as a mixer. Mm-hmm. Which I was doing the old school lunch and some of the 5 o'clock traffic jams too as well. So I was like, okay, no problem. And they said, it's great. We love you. Everything's great. You've been an asset to our station. You're an ambassador in Vancouver. Your ratings are high. So really, it had nothing to do with ratings because we were number one in a time slot.
Yeah.
I brought a lot of awareness and business actually, into the station as well, and it was a great experience for me. And when they told me that I was being let go the final day, which I started DJing, I was like, okay, I'm not on air anymore, but I'm still DJing.
Right.
And then, which that's kind of the beginning of the end. About 6 months later, called me off and said, hey, we're gonna have to let you go.
Right.
And because we're looking for more mainstream professionals.
Right.
So you can read in between the lines on that one. Won't elaborate.
Right. Just leave it at that.
Mainstream professionals. What is that? But whatever. Okay. So.
But it was. You laugh about it now.
Yeah.
But it was really like a hard moment for you.
It was. It was very hard.
Devastating.
No one likes being fired.
No.
No one likes being fired.
Yeah.
And when they let me go.
Especially when it's your passion, radio. Right?
Man, I love being on the air.
Yeah.
There's nothing better to me, because I get to play the music there.
Yeah.
I get to touch people with music and dialogue.
And the funny thing is that your reputation being on the radio is so big here in Vancouver that. So I met you in Bible class.
Yeah, Faith Works.
Faith Works, yay!
Best Bible class ever.
Hi, Jackie, Mark.
Pastor John.
Pastor John.
Yes.
Pastor Helen.
Yes.
Yeah, no, Faith Works Bible class at Relate Church and in Surrey, BC. And anyhow, so we met there, and I went out to one of your nights like later on and brought my daughter because it was her 19th. So we went and had appies and stuff. And she's like, "That's your friend Al." I said, Yeah, that's my friend Al. She's like, "Is that DJ Alibaba?" And I said, yeah, I guess so. So my own daughter, who was 19, knew about you because she had listened to you on the radio. Meanwhile, I was listening to praise music, Christian music on the radio. She was getting ready for school in the morning listening to you, which was pretty cool, right?
Yeah.
It's pretty neat. But anyhow, so it was a hard moment, right? It was hard and it was hard to let that go, right? Because it's such a passion of yours, radio.
I will say this though. My mother and father taught me one thing early in life: never burn bridges.
Right.
Because you may have to cross that bridge again.
Yeah.
And not even it's just not good to do that anyways.
Right.
But be thankful for opportunity.
Yeah.
And so when they were letting me go, they were kind of I was one of the last to be let go, and they had let some other people go who didn't take it quite so well.
Right.
And so they were escorted out of the building.
Wow.
So when they got fired, you can't get your stuff. You can't grab your jacket. You can't grab it. And they're going to pack it up, put it in a box, and send it to you. Absolutely.
Oh,
so you're done now.
Yeah.
And security came and walked them out. And so when they let me go, it was this awkward silence. And it was like, I says, well, I just want to take this time to thank you for the opportunity that you gave me for being on air. I hope it was good for you. It was very good for me, and I appreciate everything that we've experienced together, everything we've shared, and I hope that maybe one day, we can reunite at some point later on down the road, but I just want to say thank you, and I'm very appreciative and grateful for everything that we've done together and the opportunity.
Yeah.
And they were shocked.
Yeah.
They were like, no, great, no, we love you, man. No, you're the ambassador of Vancouver. We love you. No, it's great. No, it's good for us. It was good for you. You're okay. I'm like, no, I'm good. I'm good. I was moving on. In the meantime, my heart was going.
Yeah.
Like it hurt.
Yeah.
It really hurt because.
And then what was worse is you had everyone asking you, "So what are you gonna do?"
Everywhere I went.
Now what are you gonna do?
Everywhere. I couldn't go anywhere. I couldn't go to the gas station. I couldn't go to the grocery store. My kids had to deal with it as well.
Right.
It didn't just affect me. It affected my kids, my family, Oh, what happened to your dad? He got fired. I heard he got fired. And, and it was just, so what are you going to do now? And I was like, well, I'm going to do what got me the job in the first place.
Right.
And the way I got that job was because they did focus groups. And my name kept coming up because I had been, pursuing my DJ career.
Right.
And I had done my due diligence. I had made a name for myself. And since they were, starting this urban radio station, people were like, you need to have this guy on air. And sure enough, they came looking for me. And we ended up, finding each other at Cheers nightclub. Thank you, Scott Moyer. Appreciate it. And Jennifer Smith and Matthew McBride hired me on. And it was because of the foundation that I had laid prior to.
Right.
And that foundation allowed that opportunity to present itself.
Yeah.
I was in position to receive that blessing.
Right.
So that's how I actually got that job. So when I got fired from the job, you said let go, fired. I was fired. But when I got fired from the job, at the end of the day, I said, you know what, I'm going to go back to doing what I was doing before.
Right.
I'm going to go back to pursuing and handling my DJ career and pursuing opportunities. And but I did have to get away because the pressure was
huge. Yeah.
I can't tell you. I couldn't. I didn't want to leave the house. I went into a depression.
Oh, for sure. And
I went into a depression for real for quite a while.
Yeah.
And so I was sitting in my depressed state on the couch, and Squire Barnes on the Global came on TV, and he says, the sports announcer, caster, and broadcaster, and he says, well, we've got this beautiful little getaway. It's a golf getaway at Kimberley, BC. 4 days. You get 4 rounds in 4 days in Kimberley, BC. It's like $950. Great deal.
Done.
No word of a lie. I picked up the phone right there while he was still on air. He was on TV, and I picked the phone. I said, I'm going to book that vacation.
Yeah.
I'm out of here.
And you did.
Right. Oh,
we went.
Booked it. Went to Kimberley, BC.
Went.
Wow. Kimberley. There's nothing there except golf.
Right.
And a whole bunch of deer and bear and it was.
It's true Canadian roads.
right, exactly. I'm gonna go explore Canada. But I needed that. I needed to get away.
And coming back when I and this is why this conference is so from the heart for me and so dear to me, is because I literally watched my daughter fight to live, right? Fight for her life. So when I see something like that happen, I recognize how precious life is, how precious I am, how precious the gifts that God's placed in my heart, and how it's so important while I'm here on this earth to bring out everything that God placed for me and for my family and for generations to come, right? So when I sold my online business, I had 30 plus websites. I sold everything off, and the last site that I sold it and I cried my eyes out. Like I cried because I felt like I was giving away my life. It was really, truly, I still get emotional about it, right? Because it was my livelihood.
Yeah.
It was my income for starters, and it was great income, but I really felt like I had gotten to this point in my career that God would bless my future because I'm doing this. And I don't want to put my hand to anything that doesn't glorify God. I don't want to put my hand to anything unless I feel like it's going to, make a difference to people's lives, right? So this is why this is so important. This is why I think as women, we need to step up and say, okay, you know what? You may have people in your life who are negative talking or you may have a trauma. It's a trauma to lose your job or to sell things off and move on, because you get into a depression and you go, how am I even going to start again?
Yeah.
Right? And then you feel like giving up on your dreams. Yeah. Right?
Yes.
Like, how do you even start again? And we both have that feeling. And we've talked about it, and you said, what are you going to do? Are you going to sit in the corner and cry? Or are you going to get up and you're going to go?
Yes.
And that's the self-talk we both had.
Yeah.
And it takes a while.
Yeah, it does. It does.
It takes a while.
Well,
it took me a while anyhow.
God loves an overcomer.
Yeah.
We are overcomers.
Yeah.
Cheers to that.
Yeah, we cheers to everything.
We cheers. Boom. There you go. Cheers to you.
Yeah, cheers. Cheers.
It's overcoming adversity.
Yeah.
Is character building.
Mm-hmm.
And I coach girls. I have daughters, and I try to empower women as much as I possibly can. My mother
Yeah.
is a very strong person. She's strong in her faith, and she's strong in life. And you ain't, she's opinionated. And I am a mama's child, as I say,
Yeah.
And I believe that women are, a strong woman makes for a strong family, makes for a strong generation.
Yeah.
The stronger women are, the stronger our world is. And we wouldn't be here if it weren't for women.
Right.
And
Right.
so I lift women up all the time as I raise my daughters to be strong-minded women. A quick little story. My daughter Chantel has got married to Manny, and they have 2 grandchildren, and my other daughter Siobhan, and my son Travell. And Siobhan has another daughter, so I have 3 grandchildren.
All girls.
All girls.
Yeah, grandbabies.
Bless them. I said, I'm waiting for
I have one too. Hazel. Hi, Hazel.
Hey.
Love you, Hazel.
I told her, I said, yeah, you guys need to have twins so we can have a starting 5.
Yeah.
I said, girls basketball, we need a starting 5. We can win a provincial championship.
Right.
But so I told Manny. Manny's like, he wants to marry Chantel. I was like, are you sure? That's my daughter, dude. I know how she's very opinionated, strong-minded.
Right.
Like, can you handle her?
Yeah.
It's not going to be easy,
Are you
okay?
sure?
Are you sure? I'm
That's
like,
funny.
good luck.
Yeah.
No, you have my blessing.
Yeah.
I'm going to pray for you.
Right.
Because I raised her.
Yes.
Yeah, and I'm telling you,
Yeah.
she's a strong woman. But that is the joy in giving, though. And I really, truly appreciate the women in my life. I was raised by a lot of women. I was surrounded by a lot of good women who empowered me.
You're right.
Who empowered me. And so, on that note, just make sure you surround yourself with good people.
Yeah, huge.
That's, you're only as good as the people you surround yourself with. And if you have people in your life who are negative, and
it's gotta drop.
who will rain on your parade, as they say, oh, you can't do this. Oh, you can't. Oh, that's not possible. The only people who will tell you that you can't are the people who haven't.
Yes, and they're only dealing with their own insecurity.
That's it.
That's just full on. That's their insecurity.
Yes, has nothing to do with you.
Nothing to do with you. Yeah. Drop it. And that's even part of my testimony. We had our FaithWorks grad a few years ago, and we had to do a 5-minute preaching. And that's part of my testimony that when I got out of that hospital, I knew people are going to have to drop out of my life. Yeah. There's, people I have to push aside, and then people I have to completely drop. And that changed my life, right? Because life is far too precious and far too short to not be doing what you are excited about to do every day.
Absolutely.
Right? Like the other day, let's talk about day in our office, right? So we work together too. And, what we do for work enjoys us the freedom to work during the day or go do something.
Yeah. We're at White Rock.
Right. Yeah.
We took a selfie. You'll show that selfie at some point. But
I'll post my testimony and the selfie.
It's like this is our office.
This is the office for the day.
And it literally was.
Yeah.
Because we were out at the pier.
Yeah.
And we were walking and we were talking business.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
We had the privilege of being able to talk about projects and things that we want to put together. And
Creativity, the ocean.
Yeah.
It was beautiful. Beautiful day. People are jumping off the pier.
Not
there's
me.
an older couple we were talking to that, they were just lovely. And, and then the day was just beautiful, right? It was nice to get out and just have that creative feeling and force of nature around you too, right?
Yeah, and we're not saying that, saying, oh, look at us, we can do what we want. No, this is a message to you to say you can do whatever you want to do.
And
you believe in yourself. You can
be
who you want to be.
Be who you want to be.
Do what you want to do.
Yeah.
You can pursue your dreams. Yes, you can.
Because there's an avenue, right? The minute you step into it, it starts lining up for you, right? God will line up I know I've really been trusting him this whole time, and you've had a really good front row seat because when I met him, I was jumping the plane going to New York once a month, and I was picking up clients and feeling like, okay, this is the path, and this was the money path, and it turned out not so hot, like I was feeling empty, and this didn't feel right, and
Yeah, The number one thing I will say, though, also is that I know there's a whole bunch of number one things.
Have you said that a couple times?
Yeah, a couple times. No, but
But this number one thing,
yeah, this
right
number
now,
one thing,
this
really,
one right
this
now.
one right here. At the end of the day, you don't do things for money. Don't chase the money.
Right.
Chase your passion.
Yeah.
If you pursue your passion, and are passionate about it, and you pursue it with excellence, to be the best you can be. Don't worry about being number one.
Yeah.
Or because number one here might not be number one over there.
Right.
Right. Be the best you can be.
Yeah.
And pursue your passion. The money will come.
Yeah.
The money comes. I don't care if you sweep floors. Be the best floor sweeper that you can be.
Yeah.
It will come. And always, always know that yes, I can. I'll tell you this quick little story. One time my dad told me, asked me to, I wanted to go out with my friends, go to the fair. And my dad says, well, you want to go to the fair? No problem. But you got to change this gas tank first.
Right.
And I was like, okay, change a gas tank. I'm like, why do I want to change a gas tank? We take the car to the mechanic. I've never changed a gas tank in my life.
How old were you?
I was about 15. Okay. About 15, 16
Yeah, so
years
attitude.
old. My attitude. I want to do what I want to do. My friends are going to the fair, and I got money. I don't even need money.
Right.
I just want to go to the fair,
Yeah.
Like, what do you mean I got to change a gas tank?
Yeah.
That was just dumb. It's not even cut the grass. It was change a gas tank. So I hummed and hawed, and my attitude got in the way. I was in the way. Yeah. And so I messed around, didn't want to change the gas tank, didn't even really look at it, kind of halfway looked at it, didn't really, and next thing you know, nightfall came. And I was just frustrated, I was mad. I'm not even going to change the gas tank now, because I didn't get to go to the fair with my friends and blah, blah, blah. My dad was just like, whatever. So I went to bed. Dad wakes up in the morning. He's an early riser. He had to work. My dad worked 24/7, bless his heart. And he was up at like 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning, something like that, going to work. He knocks on the door, boom, 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 on my room. He says, make sure you change that gas tank before you do anything else today. I was like, huh? I thought, I figured maybe if I didn't change it, he would just take it to the mechanic. He said, no, you're going to change the gas tank. And so,
there's no getting out of it.
Man, all right. So at that point, now my attitude changed.
Right.
Because, from trying to manipulate my way out of the situation, now it's like, okay, I need to focus because Dad's not budging.
Right.
Do you know that when I actually focused and changed my attitude, I went and looked at that gas tank. I changed that thing in like 40 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was like 40, 45 minutes. The easiest change you could ever imagine. Everything was right there. Gas tank. Dad bought the gas tank. Just a couple clips. Boom, boom. Undo it. Take it off. Bam. Clip it back up. Ready to go. But my attitude got in the way, and I lost out on going to the fair with my friends because I had a bad attitude. Yeah. And I had already told myself that I can't.
Right.
Before I even tried.
Yeah.
I said, I can't change a gas tank. I'm not a mechanic. I'm not a professional.
Right. Yeah, right? Well, we just had an event at not we, but the church threw on an event with Lee Domingue, and what's that quote again?
Oh, he says, people always ask my mom, so how's Lee doing? I said, well, he's working on his testimony.
Yeah.
We're all working on our testimony, right?
Yeah, for sure. No, I was thinking about the amateurs built the ark.
Oh, yes.
Amateurs
built the ark. Professionals built the Titanic.
Yeah, think about that one. I love that one.
I was like, nice.
Do anything.
Yeah, that's good for self-employed entrepreneurs,
Yeah.
Like, that's it,
you can do it,
What is a professional?
You give it up. Like, stop putting labels on stuff.
It's a title. It's all it is, a title.
And I was just talking to Angela, right? And we were saying, back in the day, when, like in 2004, there wasn't really a name for what we did, right? Now you could call us a professional blogger. And I'm kind of endeared to that term. Like, I like professional blogger. It's kind of cute. But it's cute, right? Yeah. But that's not the whole of what I do. No. That's just gives you a basic idea, right? And, so... You are who you are. Like, people ask me, they still can't wrap their head around me DJing. Right.
And, it was like my dad, when I first told him, I was quitting my job, he was like, oh, well, you're going to have, what are you going to do, Al? You've got responsibility. That's irresponsible. That's what he said to me. That's irresponsible.
Wow.
You've got a wife. You got families.
Yeah.
You have a good job.
Yeah.
I was like, a good job?
Yeah.
I hate this job.
And, what it provided you was the ability to coach your daughters through high school and in their basketball.
Drive on the field trips. I was the only father, only father that was able to drive on the field trips. I spent time with my kids that a lot of parents don't have the opportunity to do. And so being able to DJ in the evenings freed up my whole day.
Yeah.
I was so happy. I didn't even the money wasn't even the factor. The fact that I actually got to spend time with my kids is more precious to me than anything. And a few years later, after, my dad's like, well, what are you going to do? Don't tell me you're going to DJ. I said, well, I don't know what I'm going to do, but I'm not going to DJ. Sorry, Dad, I apologize. I lied, my bad, busted, So, later on, he used to always say, well, Al, I know you like to pursue your hobby, but you need to find something more stable.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you're only as stable as you make yourself.
Yeah.
You're only as stable as you, and that doesn't matter if you're in a union, non-union. If they want to get rid of you, they will get rid of you.
Yeah.
Period. Yeah. If you make yourself valuable, you could be at the bottom of the seniority list in a union, but they will find a way to keep you and fire all the other people who have more seniority than you.
Right.
You make yourself valuable. So you're only as valuable as you make yourself.
Yeah.
And I learned that at an early age. And it's like, you know what? I says, Dad, I wasn't trying to throw it in his face, but he had kind of went through a little turmoil at work. And he has a degree, master's degree in medicine. So, he's a flight nurse. He's a nurse by trade, director of nurses. My mother's supervisor of nursing. And so I grew up with nurses. And he got laid off one day.
Yeah.
And I said, well, Dad, didn't you get laid off? He goes, well, yeah. So I said, so how stable was your job?
Yeah.
I said, at the end of the day, you're only as stable as you make yourself. I says, and so at the end of the day, I love what I do. But regardless of my job, you worked my whole life. And I thank you for that. I appreciate it because you gave me the opportunity to do what I do. You taught me everything that I know.
Right.
Hard work, dedication, family man, responsibilities. And so I thank you for that. But at the same time, how valuable is it that I get to spend time with my kids? That's priceless.
Yeah.
What value do you put on that?
Seriously, I was at the mall with Tori one day, and we're like, why is it so busy? We're trying to find a parking spot, and we couldn't find a parking spot, and we're driving around, and I'm like, why is it so busy today? She's like, wait, Mom, it's Saturday. I'm like, what are we doing here on this Saturday? Right? Like, she's like, yeah, we should be here on a Tuesday. And here's the thing. My kids have been so accustomed to that lifestyle of being able to just go when it's quiet and when you want to go, right? When it's effective, right? Yeah. That Saturday, we're like, what were we even thinking, right? Like, wow, and that the cool part is we didn't realize it was Saturday, right? That's kind of the fun thing too, right? But being able to be there, like I haven't made it to every single thing, but Olivia's volleyball, I was there for all of the bunch of games.
Congratulations, Olivia, champs.
5th in BC.
Yay!
And so there's many things I've been able to be a part of for all the kids. And that's what pursuing with drive can do for you.
Yes.
Because if you don't have the drive, you have to say, right, there's no plan B, and this is the path, right? Yeah.
I'll let me take you back for a second to when I got fired once again. I got fired from the radio station. Before I got fired, my kids, I was going through some personal drama. I went through a separation. My kids left me. I was a single father for 5.5 years. Bless the single parents, especially single moms, but all the single parents out there, I honor you. It is the hardest job in the world is raising children. And to do it as one is the toughest job you could ever imagine. So I just honor all the single parents out there. My kids were mad at me. They wanted to go live with their mom. So after 5.5 years, they just left in a not so pleasant manner. Mad at their dad, didn't want to speak to me ever again. Not ever again, but we had some turmoil, and I had a separation too as well. And as you can tell, we're a helicopter flying over here. This is live, not Memorex. You're like, Memorex, what's that? It's way back. But yeah, so kids left, separated, got fired from the B94.5,
so much.
all within a 6-month span.
Devastating.
6-month span.
Yeah.
1, 2, 3 major events happened. And I was sitting in my house, in the living room, depressed.
Yeah.
And it was Christmas Eve. And I said, God, what are you doing? Like, what am I? Why me?
Yeah.
You know that story. Why me?
Yeah.
Why? Why me?
Right.
And I literally, which I hadn't done for a long time, I literally turned around on the couch and got on my hands and knees.
Yeah.
I was at the end of my rope. I didn't know what to do. Everyone was hating on me, my family, the job, the listeners, everyone. And when you lose a job, or when you go through a bit of a transition, when you get fired or something like that, the haters, oh my God, they will come out like no tomorrow. They will come. See, I told you, I never liked him anyways. He sucked on air. Right. And he sucks as a DJ. And blah, blah, blah. I was like, oh, God. So I just was feeling worthless. And I prayed to God. And literally, and this is I'm not even exaggerating. Mm-hmm. Literally, God spoke to me in a voice. Mm-hmm. A voice. And he said to me, what about our relationship? Yeah. Why have you not been to church? Mm-hmm. And I had gotten away from our church for a little while. I relate. Yeah. I was going for a few years, and then I stopped going for a bit. Mm-hmm. And and I'm saying that just because I stopped going, the crash burn happened, but it did. Yeah. It happened. Life happens.
Whether you're going to church or not, life happens.
Life happens.
It's how are you going to navigate it?
Right. It was ironic that it happened at that time.
Yeah.
And I had a verbal conversation with God. I says, well, God, they're all about, TV cameras and money and this and that. And, it's a big church and all they talk about is money and,
Right.
And I was being judgmental. I'd be at church like this. Mm-hmm. Yeah, look at this. Look at all this stuff going around here. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know what you're up to. Bet you have a big house and a fancy car too, huh? I'm just being judgmental. And God said, literally, what does that have to do with our relationship? Yeah. What does that have to do with me? Mm-hmm. And I sat there and I could not.
And you know what?
I couldn't answer that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was like, never thought about that. Mm-hmm. Okay, God, I'm going back to church.
Yeah.
And I did.
And it
changed my life. I went back to church. I got a tithe number. Mm-hmm. I told my mother was so happy.
Yeah.
That was the most glorious day of her life. I said, Mom, nice. I called my mom. It was right after New Year's Eve. I got a tithe number that following Sunday. I called my mom. I said, Mom, I said, guess what I did? She goes, what'd you do? I said, I got a tithe number. Mm-hmm. She goes, oh, glory to God. She started praising and worshiping right there on the phone. Nice. I said, yep. I said, I rededicated my life to God. Mm-hmm. And I got a tithe number. And I am committed to Him. And I am going to be committed to my church. Yeah. And that was the best decision, best day that ever happened in my life. Mm-hmm. And literally things started to change. They didn't change right away. And your eyes open up to go, oh, okay, so the money is coming in. Yeah, it goes to ministries. It's helping Mercy Ministries. It's helping all these amazing, like the community care program and so much. My God, I felt just ashamed. I felt shamed that I would be judgmental with our church who are helping so many families and kids in schools and feeding the hungry and clothing just adopting schools or Watoto Ministries and
Mercy Ministries,
Mercy right, Mercy Ministries, like on and on. I couldn't believe it. I'm sitting back going, you're just pocketing all the money, right?
Yeah.
Bad. I'm sorry, Pastor John, Pastor Helen. I apologize.
Well, you're forgiven.
Yes, thank you. Yes.
And here's the thing too, is that this last year, when I walked into the church, I thought, oh, I know where I'm at with God.
Mhm.
I know. I've been a Christian forever. I was like 8 years old when I became a Christian and 10 years old when I got baptized. I know where I'm at with God. But I really, truly didn't.
Mhm.
I really, truly didn't. And when the storms came, and they've come, especially this last one in the last year, my daughter, it just came out like just last week. She doesn't need a lung transplant.
Yay, Tori!
Yay, Tori!
Follow her on YouTube.
Yeah,
Tori
story.
Yes.
Because her life counts, and she's sharing from her, and she's making money with YouTube, which is
Hey,
great.
there you
right?
go.
Totally.
Entrepreneur in the making.
Do it.
Yes.
But that year for me, like you said, praying on your knees.
Yeah.
Pray on your knees, okay? Because it changed. Like, I felt like I had faith before. It just has brought me to a new, I would say, love and understanding in my relationship with God.
Yeah.
That I trust Him more, and I didn't know how it was going to turn out. I did not know, and we got the best news ever that we could get. No lung transplant.
Yes.
Like, how huge is that, right?
Yes.
So this is why, and I come back to this conference, this is why this is just so, you just got to go for what you want in life, right?
Mm-hmm.
And go for your dreams and not listen. Like Al said, the people that are closest to you are the ones that are going to be the ones that are, going to come at you and say, oh, you can't do that. But you need to ignore it and say, you know what, I can do anything.
Yes.
Anything.
Put your faith in God.
Yeah.
Put your faith in God.
Keep your eyes forward. That one scripture I always post as my cover. Keep your eyes straight. Don't look to the left or the right. Keep your eyes on Him. And boy, that scripture has really helped me.
Yeah.
Really, really helped me.
Just make sure you believe in yourself. You have to get rid of negative thoughts. You have to get rid of self-doubt. And
surround yourself with people, right? And like even when we're at that thing with Lee Domain, he's all about it's called Kingdom Builders.
Yeah, Kingdom Builders. Yes.
And his book is Pearls of the King. And I'm reading that right now. And he talks about how there's certain people that you need to have in your life. And one person that you need to have is someone who prays for you daily. Right? Someone who is invested in you and prays for you daily. And, I think
that's my mother.
Yeah.
My mom and my auntie, Jerry. Yeah. Bless you. I love you, Auntie Jerry.
Yeah.
I love her so much. I just saw her yesterday. And I've had women in my life who have prayed for me and who pray for me daily. And we pray for each other on a daily basis. It's, because it's
life is hard, right?
Yeah, it's not easy,
and it's not easy to navigate it and to make good decisions and to whether it's business or personal life or whatever it may be. It's hard to when you're not. When you don't put God first too, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
It's hard. You stumble way too much, right? Stop stumbling. Put God first. And stay on that narrow path and stay on the path that, like I said, my life is far too precious, right? And all of us, you too. Yeah. Your life is far too precious to be I don't want to say wasting. What's a good word?
Idling.
Idling, and sitting still, you gotta keep it going.
Being comfortable.
Yes.
Comfortable is not a good place.
It's really not.
It's not a good place.
And actually, what I've learned too is comfortable is not from God.
No.
It is not from God. No. It is like so not
from God. God's gonna make you uncomfortable.
Yes. Yes, He will.
Like Lee, we were at the service. That he had.
It was
Kingdom Builders.
We love it obviously because it's all business related, entrepreneurial.
Yeah,
all that kind
and
of
Lee's
stuff.
out there. I love him. He's a very dynamic speaker, but he's on point.
Mm-hmm.
He's the one was Lee's working on his testimony,
right?
And but he
I
also,
love that. Yeah,
I love that. I'd say do I. And he just says that stay in your lane.
Yeah,
stay in your lane.
Yeah,
stay in your lane.
Mm-hmm.
Don't get outside your lane. Don't get involved in a whole bunch of other stuff. Stay in your lane.
Yeah.
And let God use you to be everything that you can be. My scripture that we had to pick a scripture in our FaithWorks Bible class.
Yeah.
And
kind of a life stamp, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that stamp on my heart is greater is He in me than he in the world.
Yeah.
1 John 4:4.
Mm-hmm.
I live by that every day.
Yeah.
Greater is He in me
Mm-hmm.
than he in the world. Greatness is in you.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
are born. You were made in His image.
Yeah.
You were born to be great and to do great things. You are great, and don't let anyone tell you that you're not.
Yeah.
You are great, and you have greatness inside you. It is up to you to allow it to come out.
And trust God.
Trust
right?
God with
Trust God.
Get out of the way.
Yeah. Yeah. You said that to me the other day. Get out of the way, Vera.
Yeah,
get out of the way.
Yeah, there's a little bit of doubt going on there. I said, Vera, get out of the way.
Get out of your own way.
You're in the way.
Yeah.
You got to get out of the way.
Get out of the way.
Believe. Believe in Him. Keep the faith. Believe in Him and believe in yourself. Believe in your abilities.
Yes.
Surround yourself with good people.
Yeah.
Surround yourself with good people who encourage you, who pray for you, who believe in you.
Yeah.
And life will change for the best. Like you, I can't tell you how it will, but I can just tell you that it will. Mm-hmm. And you will be surprised, and opportunities will come up that you never expected in your life.
Yeah.
Never.
And you know what? You deserve the best.
Yeah.
You deserve God's best, not just the best that we think is best, right? But God's best for your life in every part of your life. You deserve, and we all deserve it. And my life stamp scripture is Philippians 4:8, and that is to think on what is pure, what is lovely, what is a good report. You know, think on these things, and when you think on the good things in life, right, all the negative just drops. And I think we just had church. There you go.
It's our passion play here. We want to take a collection for.
So funny. But I think, we could talk forever in a day, and I'm sure we'll do more stuff like this because we're so obviously passionate about pursuing your dreams and what God placed in your heart, and that you can do it.
Yes.
And so can we.
Yes.
Right?
Yes, we can.
We still struggle with it.
But you're going to go through ups and downs.
Yeah.
And will you fail? Absolutely. Yeah. Failure builds character.
Yes.
That's how, how do you learn?
Yeah.
That's how you learn.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, no failure or success are necessarily final. So just because you fail today doesn't mean you're going to fail tomorrow.
Right. And there's nothing wrong with failing.
No. And just because you succeed today doesn't mean you're going to succeed tomorrow.
That's right.
That's,
maybe you just have to tweak it a little and go, and then go.
Slow and steady wins the race.
Exactly.
It's not a race. It's not a track meet. It's a journey.
Right.
Life is a journey.
Yeah.
And as one of my elders that I listen to quite often, one of my mentors, he says to me, Al, I learned a long time ago, he says, the older I get, the more I realize how much I don't know.
Yeah.
And I had to soak in for a while. I was like, the older I get, the more I realize how much I don't know. Mm-hmm. And I tell the kids that I mentor and that I coach and I'm involved with, and I do motivational speaking with kids, high school kids. And I tell them, I says, be the best person you can be.
Yeah.
Don't worry about anyone else.
Mm-hmm.
Just be the best person you can be.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're not smarter today than you were yesterday, you're not paying attention. And if you're not smarter tomorrow than you are today, you're not paying attention.
Yeah.
Pay attention.
Yeah. Don't idle. Don't idle.
No.
Go.
Learn. Every day is a learning experience.
Yeah.
Every day.
So let's cheers and say that's the end of our little chat.
Well,
Chit-chat.
I want to say thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate the opportunity. Thank you. I hope you got something out of that. And just know that you can do great things and you were born to do great things.
Yes, totally.
So,
so cheers.
Cheers. To a beautiful discussion.
Yeah.
And cheers to you.
Cheers to you. Bye.
Bye-bye. Holla.
Holla.